Good morning, everyone. It's Creative Stamping with Marg. It is May 23rd, Tuesday morning. Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be using a new set of products that I just received. Cheerful Daisies, and there are dies that go with it. This is from our new annual catalog. So I'll show you how those work. We're going to use the stamps and the dies today to make a fun fold gatefold card. So we're going to start with our gatefold card base. So this card base is 5.5 by 8.5. I've scored it when I put it in my trimmer 2 1/8 inches from this side. I turned it around and I did 2 1/8 inches from this side. So then very carefully when you close it and use your bone folder, you want to make sure as close as you can that you're meeting neatly in the middle, and then burnishing those with your bone folder. Okay, the pieces we need. I am using the Fresh as a Daisy Designer Series paper that goes with this stamp set. And if you haven't seen it, it's quite an array of paper. If you can see all the different pieces, all the different colors. This front piece is very interesting because it can be cut up into pieces to be put onto fronts of cards. So I've already cut mine up and done a little bit of that with it, but it's very interesting. So the colors are all the new in colors: boho blue, pebbled path, wild wheat, copper clay, and moody mauve. Plus there's pretty peacock, lemon lolly, the new pink, is it bubble bath? So you can see lots of the new colors in there. So it's very pretty paper. So we are going to be using that today. And I chose the blue tones today, which are boho blue. So we need 2 pieces of Designer Series paper that are 1 7/8 inches wide and 5 1/4 long, and they are going to be put on the front of the gatefold like this. All right, then we need 2 other pieces of DSP, and I chose this blue daisy one that are 2 1/4 by 3 3/4, and they actually are cut. You can see that they go together, and I want to make sure I put them on my card this way. This is the fun fold part. Okay, and they need to be backed with some cardstock. So I chose the copper clay, and it is 2 3/8 by 4 inches, and it'll go behind these. And for the inside, I used my deckled rectangles, and I cut another piece of the blue and a smaller piece in basic white to go on the inside. All right. There is a label in the dies for this one. The label's right here. And I am going to use it and use the greeting, wishing you the brightest birthday, which comes from that set, and it fits perfectly in there. So I've already cut a label out, and I'm going to use some of the new copper clay ribbon. Very soft, very nice. Okay, so let's get this put together. I think what we'll start with is putting these pieces onto here. So I am going to bring in my silicone mat, and there's the wrong side that I don't want. So that's where I'm going to put my glue. And I am using liquid Tombow glue today. That is my glue of choice, and I'm gluing both of them while I've got the glue going here. Get them both, the glue on them. You can see that this side of the paper doesn't really go with the other side, which is a bit disappointing to me because I often like to use card designs that you can see both sides of the paper, but this particular one wouldn't work very well for that. All right, so that goes there. Whoops, I just got my hand in there. The ink. And then this one. And these don't have to be, they aren't matching in any way. So you don't have to worry about. If you have a pattern, and I will show you on another card that I made, you have to be aware of that pattern if it looks right or wrong side by side like that. Okay, so there's those pieces. Now we're going to do the fun fold part. So I'm going to attach these daisy pieces to the copper clay pieces. So I'm turning them over. Now, this daisy paper turns over to copper clay, which goes together quite nicely. So I liked that, but not for this particular card. So, all right, these just need to be glued on. You can also use your glue runner if you like. I just find that I have more flexibility with this to be able to mount them and wiggle them a little bit. And these, you want these to make sure that you've got them looking the same. So you want them lined up because they are going to go one on above the other on the card. So you want them lined up pretty good. And this was cut out of the paper like that, so it's like a scene. I want to put them on that way. So again, if you have something like this that's going to show like it is a scene that you've cut apart, you want to put them on this way. So they're put on across here like this and like this, but obviously only glued on one side. Now, the other card I made, I used dimensionals behind these. This one I think I might just put on flat. So I like, it doesn't matter which way you do it, whether you do it this one this way and this one this way or the other way. I'll do it this way this time. It's opposite to what I did the last time, but I'll show you my other card that I did. So if I'm putting it on, I want to see some of the blue at the top and at the bottom. And I also kind of want these to be fairly close together because I want the pattern to show. So I think that looks good. Whoops. So I am going to just put glue on the one side. So how you can do this, I want it on this side. So you can lay it down like this. Take your glue and just put your glue on. You know it's going to be on this side. I did bring a new glue in today because I thought, oh, this glue is, I'm getting down to the end of this glue. Oh, I might have to break out a new one. This one is not going to work for me. Okay, let's get a new one out. All right, start again. Oh yeah, this is a new one. Lots of glue, just not, you don't want a ton of glue on this. Like that, whoops, and I went over on the card. So flip it back over, right? And I want it this way. So you're just lining it up at the edge of the blue paper, making sure that it's straight. And you also want to make sure you have no glue on this side. So I'm just going to put it down like that, okay? Next one. I want the glue on this side. So let's turn it over and just put the glue. We know it can go right to the edge here, like that. And just over to here, like that. All right, turn it back over. And you have to kind of hold the gatefold down so that it, and I want to look at the top and the bottom blue and see if I've got it somewhat, whoops, even. And the middle. Oh, you can see glue peeking out there. If your glue comes squishing out, just wipe it away. And making sure when I open it that I have no glue on the inside of these. So that's what the card essentially looks like. So a fun fold, gatefold. It will stand. And it's just a variation on a gatefold card, which I think is kind of fun. All right, we're going to do our stamping next. So, oh, sorry, I think we could glue the insides in first. So I will put some glue on this paper. I won't glue the white one down because I am going to stamp on the white piece. So I don't know if I mentioned that I used the thick basic white for my card base. You don't have to use thick, but it really is sturdy, and I really like the look of it and the feel of it. But I'm going to put that in the inside like that. So you can see how much DSP we used on this. All right, and then I am going to put the white piece in, but not till we stamp on it, just because if I make a mistake, I can always turn the paper over or get a new piece. All right, so let's see. We're going to stamp the greeting onto here, and because these are photopolymer stamps, we need to use our piercing mat, give it some cushion. So I've chosen out of this Cheerful Daisies, Wishing You the Brightest Birthday, so I've got it mounted here. And I was thinking I wanted to do it in copper clay, but I am debating. I do have two labels, so I could do it either boho blue or copper clay, but I kind of think I want to highlight the copper clay, seeing we've got just a little bit of it here. So I did bring the copper clay out. And this is, like I said, one of our new in colors. And it's very pretty. And I will just try this on a scrap to make sure it's new ink pad, very juicy. Ooh, very pretty. Okay, ink it again. All right, and I'm hoping I can get this nice and straight on here without. What I usually do, as you know if you follow me, is I usually stamp first and then die cut, but that one turned out okay, because quite often if you get it crooked, then there's no turning around. And this one, you can turn it over, but the stitching is on this side, so it looks best if it's like this. So that's beautiful, isn't it? So we have that. I'm going to close this. No, I won't close it up, but move it out of my way. That's what I wanted for the greeting, and I wasn't sure what kind of embellishments or how I was going to jazz this up. It really doesn't need anything because this paper is so pretty, but I did cut a piece of the copper clay ribbon, and I thought maybe I would lay that copper clay ribbon just behind this, just like that, and center it. I thought that looked really pretty instead of a piece of paper or something like that. And I don't know if you need anything else on this card or not, because I just love that paper. So I did cut out from one of the dies. There is this is a large die. There is this 3 daisies and some leaves. You can cut them apart, and I thought, well, maybe let's try that. Cutting them apart and just seeing if I wanted to add any of these little daisies to this. Like I thought even a little daisy there, and there are centers that you can punch out or die cut out, and they come like the center can go in the middle of your little daisy like that. So I thought that looked okay. Maybe not great. I love this daisy that's like looking at it from the side. So I thought let's cut it out and see what it looks like. You know, and it can be on here too. Whoops, I've got it on the wrong side. It can be on here too. And it also has the center, the same center you can use for that. Actually turn it the other way. It goes like that. So we could put these two on here, I thought, but I wasn't sure if it required it or what to do with it. So I really love this paper, and I don't want it to look too busy, so I didn't know. And I thought this daisy was definitely too big for this on here. You can see when you cut it apart, you want to make sure you trim off all those little things and this paper didn't have any leaves in it really, but I thought that might look nice too. Let's give that a trim. I mean, maybe we could put one of the daisies and a leaf behind it. You know, something like that. I don't know. So I think what we'll do is I will just move this out of the way and bring my silicone mat back in. I'll build these daisies. You see this guy's got a little bit of a piece stuck on him. Okay, I will build these daisies and then we'll decide if we want to use them or not. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the back of the copper clay center. I do have tweezers here that make it easy to pick these things up so I don't get glue on my fingers. And don't really know which way this is supposed to go, but I will put it like that. And there's the leaf, so I don't know if I like that or not. I'll do the other little one. I did cut out 2 copper clay centers so that we could use them. And I'll show you, I did try some stamping, but because the daisies in this paper are just white, it's really hard to stamp. I just didn't like the way they looked. So I'll just get those centers on there like that. So I did try stamping with smoky slate, which I think we are going to do on the inside, just one of the little daisies, and I think I'll just do this little half daisy on the inside with the smoky slate. It didn't look good in boho blue as an outline, so I thought, oh, I have to stick with something more neutral. So I'll show you what that looks like, and we can stamp the center with copper clay. So we can do that next. Bring back my mat, and I have my, this is smoky slate ink for the little daisy, and I will stamp it off once, and you'll see how dark it is. Stamp it off once. See how dark it is. Now stamping it again, it's quite light. Third time is even lighter. I think the second is good. Second, we call that second generation. So I will stamp it off, and I'm just going to stamp it on the corner and have it going off my paper. Remember, this is the inside of my card. And then the copper clay, I think I will do it full strength because, I'll just show you what that looks like. Just like that. I think that looks good. So I'm going to do it full strength on here. Like that. There. Isn't that cute? All right. So that's going to go on the inside now. I'm not going to stamp anything else on the inside, so I think I can just go ahead and glue this. So we'll do that now. Okay, and I'm going to lay it in like that. So those are 2 different layers of your deckled rectangles. And of course, if you don't own these dies, you can just cut rectangles. So that's the inside of our card, and I think it looks okay, the smoky slate daisy. All right, so now we do have to make a decision about this. I am going to close up my ink pads because I don't want anything to go into them by accident. All right. My greeting here. I think what I'll do with my greeting is I will take my stamp and seal, get it started, and I'm just going to run the stamp and seal right across the back in the center and lay my ribbon on it. I'll actually lay the ribbon down and put it on this way so I can see. I kind of want it even, end to end. So there. And so that's stuck on, and then I can go ahead and add, if I want to add dimensionals, which is what I think I'm going to do. I'll do that right now. I'll put some dimensionals on it. Three like that. And I can even take the paper off so that they're ready to go when we're ready to stick it on. Right. And then we have to decide about our daisies. Oh, there's another one. All right. I think I want this down at the bottom here. Like that. You can see how that ribbon's already fraying. That's not on this end here. So I may need to trim that off again. Okay, so there's our greeting. And there's the inside. All right, so I don't know what you guys think about these daisies. This guy has a little piece that needs trimming here. So I don't know whether I want to put a couple of daisies on here. Like that. You know, I don't even know if they even really show up here, do they? They're kind of, the one thing that I do think I want to do is I just take a pencil or a pen and just roll these a little bit to give them some dimension. You can roll them both ways, and then they're a little more interesting looking. They're not just flat. So there's that one. And this one I definitely think has to be rolled down like that. I don't really know. I don't know if it really needs it or not. And I also brought in the embellishments that come with this suite. They are called adhesive backed solid gems. And they look like this. They come in lemon lolly, boho blue, and the copper clay. And I thought we could put some copper clay ones on maybe this part up here. But I don't know, what are you guys thinking about this? I just don't know if I really want to add any of these things, if it makes it interesting. It sort of makes it interesting. I think I will put them up on dimensionals, and we'll go with it. So just one in the middle of each. And the dimensional will just fit in the center of these. If you think they don't fit or they're going to show, you can always trim your dimensional or use minis. All right, so again, we're going to take this off. That. And you know, you can always take your backing off of your dimensionals, and then they're sticky, and just lay them on your silicone mat. You can always peel them up from your silicone mat. So now I got to decide, how do I want these? I think this one has to go here only because it's a bit bigger. So I'll stick it there. And I think I will put this one here. There. I don't know that we need the leaf or the leaves. I could tuck them in there. They look kind of nice. So what I'll do is just put a little bit of glue on the back of this leaf. Just like that. And tuck it in here. It does give it a little bit of interest to have some 3D things on it. And now if we wanted to use our embellishments, I think the blue just blends too much, so I think I will put maybe just the little guys on the top. They come in 3 sizes, so that's kind of nice. I'm going to just do the little ones like this, and maybe one over there, just like that. So this is pretty monochromatic, but I really think the paper is so beautiful. So there's our card, wishing you the brightest birthday, and it opens like this into the center. All right, so that's that. Now you can embellish your envelope, of course, with adding paper to the flap, or you can stamp the daisies on it. Would be nice no matter what you do. This is the other card I made, and I used, this is retired paper. This is the hydrangea paper we had. So this is done on Highland Heather, Highland Heather. And the paper you can see is this pattern, and then I cut the hydrangea paper, and it actually does, it was the same one on top of the other, so they kind of go together. What I was saying about this stripe paper, you just want to make sure that your stripes are the same. So I had to fiddle with that a little bit because I didn't want them offset. And the happy birthday comes from the Pansy Patch stamp set. I do not have the hydrangea stamp set, so I thought, well, how can I embellish this? This was one of the pieces of paper, and I just used my circle, stitch circle from the Stylish Shapes, and I cut it out to make it kind of like a focal point, and then I cut a green, this is Old Olive, the green that I used on this, and I used some retired ribbon and some retired embellishments, but it opens like this. I used another piece of paper, and I used the contour dies and cut this out of the Designer Series paper, and I just put a rectangle inside of white for the writing. So that's that card. So you can see I did that one opposite. It opens, these open opposite. They are also up on dimensionals, so I didn't put any of this up on dimensionals. So those are the two cards. So fun fold, gatefold card. Great with any paper, and it uses up a fair amount of DSP. So if you are trying to use up DSP, this is another good layout to use. All right, I will be back next Tuesday with another couple of cards to show you. And I hope everybody has a great week. Take care. Bye now.